Let's see how it goes. Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Michael. We have Michael that is online here. And so if anything, you can't hear us or anything goes wrong, Michael will let us know on here. So I have a special guest. It's Henriette, and she is graciously gracing me because she's in Europe and she's in a home that she has resided in or has been in her family for 100 years or more. Was it more than 100 years?
Little over 100 years, yes.
Little over 100, which is like unheard of. In the United States, no one lives in the house for 100 years. I think that's great because it has a personality and it has history. And unfortunately, her heat has been having issues. So she's in a parka today so she can stay warm. So let's just put warmth to her today. And I would like to introduce Henriette. Is it Henrietta or Henriette?
Henriette.
Henriette. And sorry, my voice. Now my voice starts to go. Hold on. So Henriette is a gifted multidimensional channel. Oh, hold on one second. I keep getting this pop up. I don't know why it does that. And she's a third generation intuitive, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Her unique abilities have allowed her to work with clients for decades, providing insight and support on overcoming a variety of personal challenges. Excuse me. Her expertise is through her career. Henriette has helped individuals identify and remove obstacles relating to finance, relationships, goals, health, and career paths. She specializes in advising and mentoring high-achieving business owners and entrepreneurs, guiding them towards success while encouraging them to live life to the fullest. Henriette has a remarkable ability to detect ancestral patterns, which we hopefully will cover, hidden influences, energetic blocks, and potential timelines within minutes during a session. She offers clients clear and actionable steps, revealing the most accessible future paths to help them achieve their goals. Often, Henriette is a last resort for clients who have struggled to make progress after years of self-work and who find themselves stuck in repeating unwanted cycles. And I think that's true because I think people try many avenues, and some of them work and some of them work for a while and some of them just don't do anything. And so I think like you and I, when they come to us, I think they get a little bit shocked that we are different than most people that do readings, help people. And you have such an expertise of training that I think that is where a lot of your speciality and wisdom comes from, is your training. I'm a channeler. I've just been channeler. I see dead people. I talk to dead people. But you have training. And I never even thought of, going beyond what I have. But you did. When did you start your training and going into the Tibetan and all these other curriculums?
So first of all, hi everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And yes, my house got upset because we put it on the market and it decided to really break down. So for me, it was the trainings came first because I had very psychic children, and I even started down the rabbit hole because I wanted to help them not to feel weird about their abilities. And that's how I started searching what aura was and energy was and all these things. And I didn't know about my abilities then.
Yeah.
I mean, I always knew since it runs in the family, that we were, especially the female line is very intuitive, but I didn't know about the abilities that I have today. If I had started with those, I probably wouldn't have done trainings either, because I even thought about that, like, why did I need all these trainings when someone asks a question, I can see the answer? And I know now why, because my abilities or gifts allow me to see things in a dimension, in dimensional places and energetic realms that many of them I would not be able to translate as correctly without my training as I am able to. So I had to realize that that's why it makes me faster with all these trainings, right? Because sometimes
definitely
exactly, like the answer comes, and a lot of times with images first before any other information, and it allows me to be more exact and like I said, faster. Yes. And going back to what you said about people, what I find is that nothing is really a waste of time unless a practitioner is an actual fraud and they know they are, they just rip you off. But I find that that's not very common, at least with the people that I meet. And I wanted to address this a little bit, because I sometimes have clients who are very upset about family members that they go to someone that they think can't help them. And they're right. But the thing is, when people come to me, they don't leave without being changed and healed or something. Well, we're not completely healed, but with that deep answers. And not everyone's ready for that. So they sometimes need the first steps. Or maybe they go and buy their own tarot cards, right? And all the family members are upset with them. Why don't you go to this person and that person? But leave them alone, because if they're just starting the journey and that's what they're open to, even if they try to schedule a session with someone who would actually help them, they would not be able to show up, or the person would get sick, or something would happen.
That happens. Yes.
Right? So I believe that everything has its place on the journey, and some people are so fed up with their problem, they're ready right away. So then they show up right away. But and other piece that I find important is that it's not, some of my abilities I know that not very common, but overall what I think is not that I'm like so much better than other practitioners, but it's a lot of times it's like, this is like the final thing that you just need, but they're filling the cup of healing with all these other things that they're doing for themselves. And then the last person, like the last practitioner, is the lucky one who comes in, and then people often think it's like, oh my God, that's the person you have to see. And then the person goes and not the same result, because oftentimes it's the adding together all the things that we're doing for ourselves by the time we see that person. And I'm not downplaying, like, yes, you sometimes need these genuine deep dives. But I also wanted to say that's also important to know, that nothing that you do for yourself is in vain, right? Or a waste of time.
And I like the way you said deep dive, because I do that. And I'm not fluff, and I don't cherry coat. I will be careful. I don't ever say anything negative. And if something does negative come through, I figure out how to make it into a lesson and promote it to the person as a lesson, and to, maybe go along a different path. But I like to deep dive, and I think people that get readings from me, that they would, they know that. Well, actually, this last one, let me just give you a little thing. This last one I did, her husband had passed away. And of course, I'm more with the deceased people. And I asked him to help me with the reading. Well, he didn't help me with the reading. He did the whole reading.
Oh, wow.
And he wanted me to pick cards, and then he wanted me to hold the card and then talk to her about each one. And it was kind of like my lead in. The card subject was my lead in. And then he talked from then on. And I I said things that I never say. I mean, I talked about things that I never talk about, and it was poignant to her. And don't you find it sometimes when you're going, why am I going to talk about seeds or something like that? I'm going, why am I talking about that? Maybe I should take that out, But you learn, I think, in time, we learn to leave things in, because even though it doesn't mean anything to me, and I might be embarrassed to say it, it means something to them.
Yes.
Do you find that?
Yes. That's I also do that with there's a very special type of session that I also do with people. It's a higher ticket offer, but it's a long, like 4 or 5 hours we spend, well, with breaks, but we spend together, because what I find is that when there's something really serious is going on, or maybe some big goal that someone's setting, or it's a stubborn issue that they have been dealing with for many generations, then I find that it's, if we spend this much time together, and I do the clearing, I clear all of their energies, I remove the entities, the implants, everything that would influence the person. We look at patterns and everything, and we'll use my gifts as well as tools. Yeah. And they don't go home in between, like we would do 1 hour, they go home, back to the same environment, come back a week later. Oh, okay. It's a little bit, in those cases, are a lot less effective when this focus work. But when I do that work, when we schedule the session, that whole day is about the person. So I, on that day before the session, don't do anything. I don't even watch any movies or anything like that, because I want what you said to come through. So I'm getting a lot of things before we even sit down. And most of these are online, because I have clients from all over every continent, actually, except Antarctica. I don't have clients yet from there.
From where? Where did you say?
Antarctica.
Oh, Antarctica. I don't have a client from there either. So
exactly, and I find myself, my attention would be drawn to things that I know that's about the client, and thankfully, I'm not one of those practitioners who suffer physically, so I don't take on the client's pains. I wouldn't want that. I'd be dead. But my attention is drawn, and I get a lot of information. And yes, if there are relevant loved ones who are standing in line to want to come through, then that happens. So yes,
that's awesome.
Absolutely, we're guided with. That's why I'm not nervous. How I also teach practitioners or future practitioners, people who want to be healers or work with family patterns, and they're sometimes nervous about it's not even sometimes, it's a common thing about working with other people. And but the biggest effect that I've ever, I can't get out of the sentence though. So the best advice that I find, that they find, that I give them, is when I tell them this, that we're not alone in the session. It's not just me. I always, I like to connect with, I call it God, source, what have you. And they're in the driving seat, and I'm the Sherpa up the mountain of, healing and reaching goals. So I'm not alone. I'm not healing you. So I'm not.
We're the vessel. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're the vessel.
And the co-creator, like it's a collaboration. I think like a group of three, with the divine, with me, with the client, and then we're creating this beautiful result. And and nobody else is allowed. Any other group members? Who are
the
not
room
invited.
Is full at that capacity.
Exactly. We're not invited, or nicely cleared.
Have you ever, when you've done a reading, this happened to me once, have you ever, like afterwards, had a hitchhiker?
On me?
Yeah. Like in your house, or that you, after
No, I didn't, because by the time I started this type, like these, like some of the nasty ones I was able to remove. I had the Tibetan healing in my corner that I've learned.
Okay.
The Tibetan healing is an energy healing that's with humanity for thousands of years. It's actually not from Tibet, but they took the knowledge to Tibet to keep it intact, and it works with symbols and everything. So there's a very powerful protection that I learned.
Okay.
Again, the blessings that I didn't know about these abilities sooner,
Yeah.
and started
Yeah.
picking stuff from people, because otherwise, yes, they try. But because now I have that, and I put this on every time I do something like this, then they can't. It's like they slide off. But you're right. Some of these are really nasty. Like, that's why I always tell people who are on their awakening path, they can have abilities awaken. Don't start removing these things from people, because you can get a lot of infiltration, which is, I think, sometimes what happens with genuinely good healers who studied out well, but now they're so infested that they just,
Yeah, I had that.
It's important to ask people. I feel like, I'm sorry, if people go to healers, I would, it's your energy, it's your health. I would always ask them the question of, how do you clean yourself? Do you do anything to protect yourself, and as well as clear yourself? And if they say, oh no, it's not needed, it's the darkness can't, blah blah blah, don't go there.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
Oh no. I learned quickly.
Safe.
Yeah, I learned quickly. And I don't have, when I first started, I didn't have the expertise that you have on sealing it down, like, because you open like a portal and you have to close it. And I didn't do it this one time. And it was a deceased husband came through, another one. And he decided to show himself to me that night when I was in bed. And I had a black figure on the side of my bed. And I don't know why I did this, but I swatted at it like that. And my hand went through it. And then I went, oh, I'm in trouble. And then it like went up and it started diving towards me, this black figure, like in bed. So I flip out of bed, turn on all the lights, and I start my Michael the Archangel commands. And I always do my hand to the right, to the square, and I just start commanding, it. But that was really a lesson. I have a lot of lessons that I learned. I
heard it from Reiki practitioners that, and don't quote me on it, I don't know enough about Reiki, so if it's not true, it's
okay.
Or maybe not true anymore. But some years ago, they were saying that Reiki doesn't have the built-in clearance of, when you're working with people, there was no process of clearing yourself, and they realized it very soon working with people that they would have. And some, like, for example, the entities that I remove are not human, and they're nasty. Like, they're often stronger than a spirit that's earthbound. And these practitioners said that they had to develop their own clearing method to do that. So if you learn Reiki and start even working on family members, make sure that you always have something. And if you're interested, I can give a few tips for people to clear the energy and clear out anything that you may have picked up from people. Even just, a lot of emotions have spiky, strong energy.
They can adhere, of course. Yeah. And so anyone that's out there thinking of working with your intuitive nature, there's a lot more to it than you know. It's like intuitive psychic readings 101. And that another thing that you brought up, Ray, is I went once to have it done, and I didn't feel anything when it was done. But the Reiki master, she kept laughing. I go, why do you keep laughing? It's like she was talking to someone and they're just having a really good time laughing. And I'm kind of going, I don't understand what's going on. Anyway, I left weird. And I thought, what? Now, this is just a question for you. Can we get any negative energy from a Reiki master?
I don't want to single out Reiki, because I've had it with other stuff. But I did have. I
was wondering about that.
Both other practitioners as well as clients come to me who did have exactly. It's like a virus, that you pick up from, not an actual virus, but just like I'm saying, that if you see someone who has a bad cold, you can go home with the cold. And it happened a few times. It's not very common, but it's also not rare. that, yes, that I had to clear stuff. And when I tuned in, I was like, okay, so did you see someone recently? And that was a person that when they went back, because at first they didn't believe me that they got it from them, but thankfully they did ask the person, do you have any kind of protection on you or clearing? And they said, and they laughed, and they said, well, you don't need that. If you don't pay attention to the dark side, it doesn't exist. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So and then they didn't go back.
And that's something that you brought up the other day, is if you don't pay attention to the dark side, it doesn't exist. Well, that's ignorance. You can't do that.
You know what I believe? I think it's manipulation. I think that some forces, this is what I believe today, that some, let's call them forces, whatever, agenda, infiltrated the spiritual community, the healers, even people who are interested on the awakening, like walking on the awakening path or intuition, energy, any kind of things that would speed up this ascension process for humanity. I feel like they're infiltrated it. And if you make people believe that these things don't exist, they're not going to learn to protect themselves or processes to remove these things or go to people who help them. They're just going to work on themselves to always be like, love and light, carrying a whole bunch of backpack entities on them.
They need to
and then you have this diagnosis like chronic fatigue. You know how many chronic fatigue I met that was just the backpack, and then chronic fatigue was gone. And
interesting. And I think a lot of our elements, like what you just said, a lot of our elements that we can have, things that just bring us down. There's sometimes your level just goes boom, and you don't know why. One day you're happy, and next day you just feel heavy. You feel angry, you feel agitated, and you're going, what happened to me in one day? And it's because something or hopped either from someone to you, or certain circumstances were brought in. And you and I were talking about TV and things that we watch, that sometimes those things can infiltrate our minds and kind of activate. Isn't that what we're kind of going with?
Yes, and I especially find it in the case of implants. When I say implants, I'm talking about energetic implants. So the ones that I remove are not physical implants. They're energetic implants. They look kind of like computer pieces or robotic things. It's so interesting because the entities look more organic. Like some of them looks like a leech, and some are like the nasty look more like the some kind of head with limbs type of things. But the implants, the energetic implants, always look kind of like machine-like. And one of the most common ones on people, almost everyone has that when I look at them, is the one that gives you, well, it doesn't give you anything. It captures your thought. And then, you know how there's a lot of talk about self-love, but there's some people, a lot of people actually, who say like, I don't know why, like I just can't stop, being so negative to myself or hard on myself or even hating myself. Well, it's not just you. A lot of times it's not just you. You would have a weak moment when you would think something like, oh my God, I'm so stupid, or something like this. And what these implants do is they cannot give you, in my experience, they can't give you new thoughts, but they could capture yours. 1 split second, you would say, and I don't want you to be scared, okay? Split second doesn't really matter. You have to have a really strong emotion with that. But also maybe you repeat it a few times, and then it captures it, it exaggerates it. So now it's not just what you did was stupid, but your whole self and every decision. And that's why your life is like ruined and you'll never reach your goal, like those things. And they put it on repeat. So it's like a monkey mind. It keeps repeating. And then
So
people are trying to get rid of them.
Just keeps going and going and going.
Exactly. And
I've had clients who would project out. Okay.
Exactly. I've had clients who would have these for like 2 decades. And they've tried everything to stop those. And they were really hard on themselves because they thought that, why can't I just be nice to myself and blah, blah, blah. Remove the implant. It's gone. It's quiet.
Where are they located? Where do you find they're mostly located, those implants, those energetic
This particular type, the monkey mind type, is always in the same place for people. In the Matrix movie where they're plugged in?
Yeah.
In the back? That's where I saw it. It looks kind of like a box with legs. It's like, I call it a spider or octopus.
Interesting.
And it goes into the stem of the brain, like it has an insert.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very specific process. You got to be careful when you remove it, first of all, because it rips out the energy of the person. Yeah. And you also have to be a little bit sneaky because it's put back if you don't do certain things. But I've learned over the years how to remove it in a way that it's not put back. And that one is there. But there's an interesting thing that I don't know what it does. And I was told not to investigate because that's not my job, and it's not safe, and it's not my job to do.
Yeah.
Many people have antennas, like a little antenna, sometimes two.
That's funny you say that. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you.
I do know it's a tracking device. That's I was allowed to know. And they're tracking bloodlines. They're tracking, sometimes every generation has these antennas, but not always.
Okay.
And they're not good. So I don't know. And one of the things I was able to discover with that is the main goal with that is to repress your abilities, to repress your awakening, to keep you in 3D, believe in science as God, and all of that stuff. So, yeah.
So it's generational.
Not always, but a lot of times it is.
Okay. And so how do you get rid? Do you just see it, or can you get rid of it, or can they get?
I also remove it, but yes, I do remove it. But I've noticed when I first started removing them, they were immediately back. Like, so I'm scanning the person. It's funny because I'm scanning the person. Okay, well, remove this, remove that, and I go there, and then I finish, and then I go back, and I used to not go back. I would just do a final thing, but this time I would just go back, and I'm like, what are you doing here? So I remove it again, but this time I wait a little longer, and it's back. So I'm like, okay. That's when I went to see where it came from.
I was going to say, and
then I was very quickly told, like, no. But now what I do is I remove them, and I have a special place that I created with helpers, and I place it there. So I kind of fool whoever's tracking it to know they can still track. Whoever's tracking it, they think it's still operational, but it's not on the person. The person gains, and I'm pretty sure that they'll discover it, but the person gains enough time. With the few people that I followed up with, I did experiments with friends too. They have enough time to then start using their abilities, start learning about energy and these processes and everything, and then they can't come back anymore.
And then they reject it. It'll reject.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you think, so let me just throw this out at you just as a thought. So when people are abducted, we talked about that. Do you think that those modalities are placed in them when they are abducted and then delivered back? Do you think that
that's a good question. I feel like it's sometimes that's the case, but not always.
Okay.
But I can tell you this, that they do not originate from Earth. That's for sure.
Yeah.
When I started following where they come from, it did not lead to the planet, but they're not forces that I would mess with. There are some people this is what I was told. There are some people who have been born to do that.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yes, okay. There are some people. Some of them are on YouTube talking about what they're doing, and they sound absolutely insane, but they're not. Okay. And that's their job. They're dealing with the source of these things. Many of them don't really know about the implant. Well, they may think about them, but not the details of the implants of what they do, because that's not their job. Their job is to do that where they come from. Mm-hmm. But I was told it's not my job. I should stay under the radar and just remove it from people, because then they'll
Okay.
do their own thing, and then they can come back. If I always tell people, when I remove these other things too, I always tell them what not to do. And you know what I've noticed? There's only a 3-day window, pretty much.
Really?
For 3 days, there's certain things, if you don't do, you're good. They can come back then. There's plenty of people they can influence still. So
do you think like almost everybody has them? What
everybody has
percentage
some
do you
type
think?
of, everybody that
Okay.
I've ever looked at has some type of implants. And
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
it was 10 years ago now when I discovered these by accident, because I wanted to help people, and they felt really sick and all of that stuff, and the usual things didn't work. So I looked deeper. I also did stuff in my own journey, so my abilities got sharper and more like dimensional, because you can't just see that these, not you where you can see spirits, what often people refer to as the fourth dimension, for example. These are they're not there. You can't see these in that. So if you just scan someone's energy, you can't see these. And then also, when I first saw them, I didn't see the insert into the body. I just thought it was just a box, right? So just to remove the box.
You didn't see the tentacles in.
But exactly, but I didn't remove this part, so it was easily just reattaching. It was like, so
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
So it
And it's
evolved
interesting
over the years.
that they told you that's not your path to figure it out. It's your
Where
path
it
just
came
to
from.
remove it. Yeah.
Like I shouldn't, not necessarily figuring out, I got the information, but I should not like visit.
Oh, visit that and go deeper.
Because I went, I was like, I'm up there. And they said, nope, no.
Yeah.
Even though I put protection on, I took my helpers, but these are not forces to
reckon with. Yep.
Yes. They said that even the people who were born for that, with that mission, they don't work alone. These are like teamwork, when they usually do it in dream time and other ways, but I'm the one on earth who's removing these from people, and they affect people.
Well, that's a special talent. I mean, I've never seen that, but that's a really special talent that you have. And I've heard of other people being able to see it. And I now can understand what you're saying, because it's an organic energy thing that you're seeing. It's not actual tangible piece of equipment, because
I don't think it's organic, but it's energetic.
Okay. And they move. So like when they've gone in before to remove people's implants that are actually in their bodies.
Those are physical implants. Yes.
Those are the physical. Yeah. And they move. They'll move on the people. You know, when they try to go get it, it'll move or go deeper into the body. Those are physical
ones. These ones look very similar.
Okay.
Than those, but these are, well, I call them energetic. That's not actually true. I think they're different dimensional than the physical. That's why they're not in a physical form. They can hide better, because if they're physical, we would notice them more, because these are fairly big. Like the one here, you know, that like the actual physical ones in people's bodies are very tiny, right? But these are big. These are like a matchbox.
Actually, I've seen it. I've seen it in something before. I've had a vision of things at the back of the neck. I think I've channeled that before, where I've seen something in the back of people's necks. Okay.
There's another one I wanted to talk about, because it's going to be really useful for people who are watching us or listening to us. There's a couple of them, but the one that stands out for me right now is, a lot of times people have this feeling that I just can't connect to this planet, and they either refuse grounding exercises, or they do them, but nothing changes. They don't feel anything. Oftentimes they're like, I just want to be out there in the stars. Mind you, that can also come from, you know, our memories in the past and all of that stuff. But when someone cannot ground, and by the way, if you can't ground to Earth, you're gonna have financial problems. Even if you have money, you won't be able to reach the next goal that you set, because you can't really make money. You don't need money when you're in spirit form or a soul, or when you're totally disconnected from this physical realm. Not everybody has money, right? And the other side doesn't have money, who passed away. They don't need it. So have those issues, and no matter what you do, again, it's not going to really change, because first you need to ground. You need to, even in my experience, even if you're really interested in connecting with star nations and ETs and all of that. I don't use the word alien because I was told that that's very offensive to them. So
it is. That's so funny you say that.
They're like, well,
I heard that too.
You're the alien for us. So
we're the aliens. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm using extraterrestrials and ETs.
Yes.
So even if you're really interested in them, oftentimes you don't get to really connect genuinely in the actual ones, not the other ones, before you ground to the planet that you incarnated in right now in the Me Too.
Yeah.
And so the implant that I wanted to talk about is, it's put on people's, the sole of, as it looks like a sole of a shoe, but it's put on the bottom of our feet, and it's thick. And I see it as black, colored black, and it's kind of rubbery. And what it does is it's sticky, like it's on the feet of the person, doesn't cause any pain.
Like black tar? It's like a tarry?
Kind of, yeah. Kind of, it's just thicker, but or like less flexible, but yes, exactly. And this one doesn't cause you any physical pain. Some of the implants do, so you kind of could think that there's something there. This one doesn't. It just simply prevents you from grounding.
Yeah.
But when I remove it, all of a sudden, all of those exercises that people learned or try to do now will work for them. And now they'll be able to ground. If you ground to the planet, changes your life.
Yes. Yes. And I just actually channeled that
really,
when you are feeling discombobulated, you need to get to Mother Gaia. You need to go outside. You need to go hiking. You need to go walking. You need to feel earth. You need to ground yourself in, because it will clear you like no one else. I mean, if you want to be really clear, go out into nature, go garden, do a little patch of vegetables, create life and feel it and motivate. It'll motivate you in ways that you don't really understand, but because I think we as humans, we are all creators. We all have the ability to create. Women have a little bit more so because we can create life, but we can't create life without men. But also we can be Mother Gaia creators and make the surrounding area beautiful with vegetation. And I grow strawberries in the summer, and I just, that is amazing, because there's nothing like it. You can't get these things at the grocery store. But I get so excited because I get a raspberry. I go, I got a raspberry, one raspberry, because it's a creation. It's something I took care of, and it created something of substance. And I think I know that sounds silly, but I think it's really huge. I think it is huge.
Also, if you connect with nature, if you start even just sitting outside and walking outside and start looking at nature, they can never fool you with stuff like, oh, the sun is causing you skin cancer. And I don't want to be controversial, just a tiny bit. You'll know right away. You don't need to wait. It was 5 or 10 years, I think, before the first study came out that they convinced everybody to use sunblock. And then skin cancer numbers rose to the sky high. Yeah. And they were like, what the heck? And then what they discovered, it's not the sun, it's the chemicals in the sunblock, the lotions, right?
I work for a dermatologist. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yes, it is coming out now that it's the chemicals. Right? If it's not a natural product.
Take another like 10, 15 years before people find out about it, because these are slow, right? But if you connect with nature, even if you're not a scientist, you know nothing about things, you're never going to believe stuff like this. You're going to be like, yes, there has to be a different explanation. That the sun that's literally life, cannot. And I'm not talking about people who are like always burn themselves to like, but that's not what they were saying to us, right? Yeah. Or another thing that is physics, like how physics work, how our reality works. if you look at how everything grows and everything pushes up and wants to expand, then you'll never be fooled with anything that wants you to constrict and contract. Look at, like, you know, what's the, not expansion. Anyways, my froze. But you know what I'm saying. So well, instead of this movement, if anything is trying to convince you to do this,
to go
and
small.
Separation and division, you don't need to know anything about politics, anything about healing, anything. You don't need to be a scientist, like I said. You're not going to be fooled if you go back to these fundamentals of looking at nature, and you'll be just like, yeah, no, don't know why, but no.
And look at the Native American people. I mean, they know where it's at. They have such spiritualism, and their spiritualism is grounded in earth, in the sky, in the sun, the moon, the stars.
There's a lot of communication in what I call our community, people who are interested in these things and open to energy and healing. There's a lot of communication that I'm quite sad when I read it, when people are like, beam me up, Scotty, I can't wait to leave this effing, you know, planet. And sometimes people would even say like, well, Earth is done. I wish, you know, humans were all like wiped out and the planet blow up. And I'm like, what are you doing? There is a reason why you're here on this planet now. It's a hard place. Not going to deny it. Not for a second.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I would want to repeat the journey, but
I know. I'm thinking I don't want to come back.
but since we're here, I also have to say, I channel what I call galactic beings. It just because it sounds nice, but they're more like interdimensional beings, and quite a few has shown me from their perspective what a very, very unique experience to be here, where we get to taste and touch and smell and the intensity and the thickness of this, the density of our experience. It's so very unique that we may as well make the most of it while we're here.
I think we're here for mastering ourselves. I think the hardest thing, I mean, I think we can be physically strong, body physically strong, but the hardest thing is mastering self, mastering your mind, mastering your thoughts, and mastering this life. And I think once you figure out how you can raise yourself up to become your own master, is key. I mean, if you're living your life following others, following society, it is an empty package that you're following. It will not, you can never win when you follow society. You will never be able to be pretty enough, skinny enough. You'll never succeed because society won't allow you to, because they change the rules. So
I like to think about that as comparison, you know, like when you're constantly comparing yourself. But we humans, I think, I don't know if we'll ever stop that, because if you think about it, even like even in my work, sometimes I have people who are like, oh, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know that blah, 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 you know, like.
I know. I never tell people.
And the ego, or I have so-and-so entity from this and this place, and they told me that I was like one of them at one point, and they're only talking to me. So if you want the info, it's like, okay. I don't subscribe to that. That's one of the signs that I know that
that's ego.
I'm not talking to a genuine being. If they start doing this, I'm like, no. Whenever I channel, I actually always, when I do these channeling events, whether it's a private session or a group session, I always leave a little space for the being to amplify their energy, because not everybody is on the path yet. Maybe they'll never be interested in doing that, or they're not that, to be able to feel the energy. So we just close our eyes, we go into this space, and the being amplifies their energy to show their energy signature, so that the person, if the person wants to connect with them directly in the future, even just vibrationally, not necessarily being able to receive messages, but still, and receive the benefit or the healing or something, then they recognize the signature. So the being would amplify their energy to show, okay, this is what it's kind of like, when you smell a flower and then you recognize, oh, this smells like roses, this smells like this. That's what they do. And they also amplify. Some of them have a frequency that we translate as a color. So they show that. And people who are able to, get that, then they do. It's not like, yeah, you want to do that too? Sorry. It's just, I have these abilities. You just.
Yeah. I've actually not hit anybody that, I guess myself, I never think I'm better than anybody else. We're all on the same path and we are all equal. And when I do things with other intuitives, I find that we all have our own talents and abilities. Mm-hmm. You're different than me. I'm different than you. And that's just our path. That's our personality. That's what we've been gifted with. And we should celebrate that. And I think if more people like us could come together without the ego, we could really change things.
Same thing with clients, I could have a client who have zero abilities. They're wonderful people. They're amazing parent or partner or a human being. Mm-hmm. I may have abilities that are really cool and awesome, but as a human, nobody's better than other people, unless you're a rotten human killing others. That's different. Right? But I see that a lot. That the reason I'm talking about this is because you guys, if you go to somebody who starts, okay, this is my opinion, okay? Disclaimer. My opinion, you do you. You do you. But I genuinely believe that when someone starts to be condescending, even like a loving kind of way to you, mm-hmm. saying things like, oh, honey, how do you think you're going to heal if you do this and that? Go away from them. Don't waste your time. Mm-hmm. No, mm-hmm. There's lots and lots of beautiful, genuine, humble souls who provide healing. You don't need that condescending, because I'm not a better person than anyone. In fact, I'm probably worse in many areas than a lot of people. I just have these abilities. So if you happen to come to me for these abilities, I'm going to be like more well-versed in these ones. But as a human, like, why would I call another adult honey and love and whatever, unless, we're dating or something,
okay. Yeah. I've had readings where they call me honey. Yeah.
And you do you, like, you guys, if you like it, because sometimes they don't notice it, or sometimes it's an age thing, they're older, then they call everybody honey, or I love the South, the South would use.
Oh yeah.
That's different. That's different, right? But if you have a feeling that someone's lecturing you and condescending, and you just have that, everybody has that. Don't accept it. Don't accept it, because people often accept it, right? Because you associate the knowledge. I have vast knowledge, but that doesn't mean what's the word? Squiddly squad, or I like that squiddly squad. No, diddly squat, something like this.
Oh, you don't know diddly squat.
that exactly. So what? Good for me and good for the people that I help, right? But no, just one of the ways you empower yourself is, I have this problem, says nothing about me as a whole human being.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I think we need to stay on the same plane as the people that we help. We should never think that we are higher than them. We
can, but then those lovely beings who love that come, and that's I believe personally, that's how healers and gurus get infiltrated and then get taken off the path.
Yeah. Well, that comes with popularity. When you become popular, then they start changing. And I think that you really, then once you become popular and people want you and like you and love you, that's when you really have to stay grounded, because you can get swooned so easy when you...
There is a reason, if you think about how the kings in the past were raised. When someone was an heir, from very early on as a child, they had a very strict schedule. They had to, learn the fight with the sword. They had to study. They had to have a very disciplined, strong soul. And I'm talking about kings when they were good kings, not 16th,
had to have
Louis
a prominence
XVI.
about them.
Exactly. Because by the time they got the power and the influence, they had a strong core ethical and moral self.
Yes.
Which is what politicians should do before they get the power, right? But exactly, like healers or someone who gets really popular or has really amazing abilities or something, or channel really interesting things, right? You can't take this personally. You have to take it in a healthy kind of way. You can be happy. But it's interesting you bring this up, because this is one of the things I got before our show when I was just opening up to the topic. And who came to mind? Taylor Swift. And I don't have any opinion about her, but you can love her, you can hate her. But why I thought about her is because I don't know why I was watching, someone said something, and I watched her, these like short pieces in these huge concerts with a lot of people. She got a lot of people's energy aimed at her, right?
Yeah.
And you guys, if you look at her, it's really useful if you're interested, because what she does, first of all, she does not isolate. She does not seal. When she walks on the stage, she connects.
Yeah, and just to connect with the audience.
I don't care whether it's like an intentional marketing thing, whatever. But if you look at other performers of that caliber, they really preserve, because they obviously probably also try to reserve their energy. That's not a good thing to do, because then it sways you. The other thing she does that's key is this. When she receives, the applause and the yelling and the screaming and the whatnot, you can literally see that she allows it to run through her body. That's why she's still sane, and not, in my experience, and not a drug addict, an alcoholic, whatnot, because she literally, like, totally open, looks around, waits. You can see, if you look at her, with those of you who have like intuition or energy, look at her energetically. She becomes like not see-through, but
transparent.
Yes, almost like that. Exactly. Like the whole thing runs through her, and some fills her up as much as a human can handle, and the rest goes out of her hands, her feet, and
also she just doesn't keep it in her. She's leaving her. Okay.
And why I'm bringing it up is not because most likely most of us would have to deal with the same experience, but we can have workplaces, where we do a good presentation or a great project and we receive the praise. If we squirm and try to do this, it's not good, because we either don't get fed in a healthy way, or if we get it too often, it could, come here. But if you just, thank you so much. Oh, I'm so happy you liked it. Like this kind of, like, receive, let the rest go. Receive, let the rest go.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's good. Very good. Now I'm going to change the subject on you for a minute, because this is something that I enjoyed talking to you the other day on, is your ancestral patterns, that you have methods that you work with for our ancestral patterns. Can you touch base on what that means?
Oh my God, yes, it's just so important.
Can you touch? I know it's a big package, but
yes,
it's very interesting to me.
The key pieces. The key piece with the ancestral, and I'm going to tell you about the method. The key piece is that a lot of times, things that are really stuck in our lives, or just stubborn, or have a glass ceiling that we can reach some goals, but then we don't go further, or with the healing, we heal and then we're back again, or we
back and forth.
We think we're gonna date a different type of person, and then we discover it's like, oh no, it's just a different
different guy.
Same old. And these things. And then we do our healing and we do clear our energy. So we do inside out, past lives, future lives, everything. Still doesn't budge. And it's because every single one of us who have a belly button is part of a system of ancestors, of generations and generations. And I know that sometimes it's common to say 7 generations. In my experience, it's not just 7. You can go back thousands of years and have influence because it's so true. Time, now we know. We don't know, but okay, my belief is that time isn't linear how we imagine it, experience it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how long ago something happened. It matters what happened and how it was dealt with when it happened with the particular family and community that experienced it. So we could have things that happen in the system and they influence us deeply. And as part of a system is always stronger than the individual. That is the only thing we find that's stronger than your life. We call it a hidden loyalty. If you have a hidden loyalty to an ancestor who lost their life early, the system doesn't care whether, and you have an entanglement, we call it an entanglement. System doesn't care whether you're still alive or not. If you represent that ancestor, it just cares about justice or that no one's missing. If that person disappeared or died and it was so painful, no one talks about them. Someone else will represent this person. And I will tell you a little bit more about that. But the method that I use is, it's really, really popular all over the world. Little less known in some parts of the US and Canada. Some parts know that, but it's really big in the rest of the world. Newly started going to Asia, and it's like really popular. It's called family constellations. And it's not a very fortunate name because it has nothing to do with astrology. I love astrology, but this is not that. They translated it from German. It just means constellation because how the family members are set up when we work with this. Yes.
They're talking about
and it was developed by sorry, go ahead.
No, they're talking about lineage, people's lineage.
Or like in a constellation, like literally a constellation, like the stars in the constellation, but it's not that.
Yeah, got it.
But it's just a name. And it was developed by a German psychiatrist who used to not be a psychiatrist. He used to work with the Zulu nation in South Africa. And the Zulu would tell the stories of their ancestors. They know a lot about generations and generations ago what happened. Then he started noticing that current day problems, somebody would have health issues or problems with relationships or what have you, and they would have something happen generations ago. And for example, a mother would die in childbirth, and then a few generations later, this person was dealing with something. And then he noticed that there was this other family also lost a mother at some point during childbirth specifically. And then the current day person had the same problem as this person. And so it repeated itself with the same thing. And he was like, I wonder if it's true about us too in other parts of the world. We just don't know our family history enough to, exactly. So he went back to Germany and studied everything he could get his hands on. He studied psychology and psychiatry and shamanism and family therapy. And he started working with what they called the field, the knowing field. And for some time, quite some time, they had no idea why it worked. You would ask people to represent family members and they would start, it looks as if they were channeling. They're not channeling, but it looks like it because they would use the same gestures, sometimes same words as the family member. And basically the method, when I work in a private setting, I use these little figures and they start, when you look at them, you just know that this one's mad at this one and this one, whatever. You can teach this method. I teach this method. So there's a way to learn it. And this is how you uncover what actually happened generations ago. And then another scientist, Rupert Sheldrake, still alive, Cambridge scientist, came in the picture, and he was investigating. He's an amazing researcher, really suggest his work to look up his work. And then he came in the picture, and thanks to his work, when he heard about constellation work and Hellinger heard about his work, they're like, wait, I think that constellation work works because Rupert Sheldrake was experimenting with that, now we call it field, but it's basically like the subconscious of mankind, and also this physicists call it the unified field, which is an information field that is, we're always immersed in, we're always connected, and it contains everything that's ever happened to mankind. Sounds familiar? I personally think, don't quote me on it, it's not official, that I think is the one and the same as the Akashic records in the Eastern traditions, right? Because everything is there. So with this method, we make it shown and seen. And I'll give you one example that's just, I think it always blows my mind, is someone could have a lot of problems in this life, especially with relationships. They always find people who are unavailable, or turns out to be not just unavailable emotionally, but like actually physically, maybe married or just broke up, or what have you.
Stuff.
Or the other typical thing is with something with money. Every time you get some money, something breaks down, or you don't get promoted, but the new person gets promoted, something with that. And then oftentimes what we find is that, let's say you had a grandfather who had a fiance, and then they were engaged, they were going to get married, but the grandfather just thought, you know what, no, I'm going to move to a different city, maybe I don't even say anything, I'll just disappear, ghost the fiance,
just abandons her.
Exactly, or break up in a way that's not very honorable, or meet mom, like the grandma, and then ditch the fiance. So all kinds of things that are considered not very fair or not very nice, or some kind of, so you do have the right to break up. You do have the right to break up, but you have to do it amicably, you know. And so if they do that, what happens is it's stuck in the system, because every family system works in a way that if you have a significant influence on another family system, whether by an act like this, or whether by killing someone in that system, or saving a life, that's also significant, then energetically you also become part of that system until it's sorted. Well, if you save a life,
each generation becomes part of that system. Is that what you're saying?
It varies. It varies who. Sometimes it skips one, but exactly. So you yourself could have these problems that I described, because you could have this entanglement with that fiance who's not even related to your system, so you would never know otherwise. But the reason is because the hidden message in our subconscious is that if that person was the original spouse, I would not exist today. So I'm grateful that they stepped aside, even if not willingly, so they cannot be treated unfairly. So I have to kind of sabotage myself and punish myself because they suffered. And
say that last part again. Say that last part again.
We have to sabotage, like I have to sabotage and punish myself because that person suffered, so that I can be here today.
Knowingly sabotaging yourself?
No. It's always subconscious. That's why it's so tricky, because people would never think of an ex-spouse. Most of the time, they don't even know about that, because they
a lot of times, we don't know what happens in our history a lot of times.
Exactly. So, and sometimes not because it's a secret, it's just nobody thinks it's relevant, right? But when we uncover it during the constellation work, then what we can do, we can actually fix it. We can heal that. We can give everybody back what's theirs, free this person from that whole entanglement. So we untangle and show that, hey, that's not your life. You're living their life, or punishing yourself for that. And then they move separately. And then it's amazing. Like, it just looks like magic what happens with people's lives. All of a sudden.
So that's kind of like the sins of the father carry through generations. You
True.
know, sometimes we carry on generations of the sins of our
Unconsciously,
fathers.
like we don't know, we don't want to do that, right? But it just,
No.
exactly.
And that's very interesting because 99.9 of us don't know that's happening, you know?
Exactly.
And that, like,
And that's just one
you,
example. There's so many different things. We've uncovered stories where a chastity belt was put on an ancestor, and
really?
by a jealous husband, exactly like few generations before. And then current generation woman always had UTIs, different kinds of problems with just
interesting
pains that no one knew where it came from. And it's just
so it comes down through the generation.
Exactly.
And then that's what this is all about, is where you stop it and you release it.
Exactly.
And you release it.
And that's just like the personal storyline, right?
Yeah.
But then add together history. So now you have different conflicts between human groups. Now you have religion. You desert the religion of your ancestors.
Yeah.
You're going to punish yourself subconsciously, even if you have the right to do that, but there's a right way to do that. So it's just incredible how many things influence us. And if it's systemic, that is why you can uncover as many past lives as you want, do as many healings as you want. It's like a rubber band. It's pulling us back.
Pulling it back and then snapping it, and it goes back into form.
Exactly.
Interesting.
That is actually why I learned this method, because I learned the Tibetan healing first.
Yeah.
And I heard about this method, and I was like, well, Tibetan healing can do everything together with my ability. I don't need any other method. Like, why would I? And they said, well, let's come. You'll be interested. So I'm like, okay, I don't know everything, so let's go. But the one thing that I did notice is that I had clients sometimes, they would have some, I don't know, stubborn issue. And then we would heal it. We go home, and a little bit later they come back, and I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm like, why are you back? How come you're back? It may not be the same problem, but you know how everything has symbolism.
Multiple dimensions.
In not just the body, but with money or other stuff.
Yeah.
And I knew that was the same symbolism. So I'm like, And I started noticing this like rubber band. And I'm like, I gotta find, what is that? So I learned how to take people to past lives. Rubber band still stayed. I learned everything. My abilities were growing, and I'm like, what is it? And then when I heard about this, that the system is also influencing you, I'm like, big. And that was it, because then the rubber band went.
It's done. So that's interesting, because I've gone through 2 of my past lives, and what I was shown was an emotion in each life, and the emotion was the same. And it's what I brought into this life is I sit on the edge of my chair and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Like, if this isn't going to work out, I'm going to go over here. I mean, I'm like, I'm not relaxed. I don't relax, say, hey, even though I act like it, but I'm on the edge of my seat because of those emotions that were so prominent in my past lives. And it was interesting that they showed me that, because it's an emotion that I carry in this life.
You know what's so interesting?
That makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Because what's interesting is that here's a doozy. Sometimes you're born back to the same lineage, so you're actually your own ancestor. So you have the entanglement with your own self earlier.
Yes, yeah.
That also happens. And sometimes it's good. It's not always bad. Like we can have good entanglements, like with a really talented ancestor. You want to connect with those that had those. They did it really well and successfully, or they were really happy. Exactly. Yeah. You just don't want the stuff that's not good. So in this case, oftentimes what I find is that out of the gazillion past lives that most of us had by the time we get here, the reason those show up either through a process or spontaneously is because they want to help you. They're like, this is the thing that needs to be cleared from the system. Yeah. Because it could be systemic. When I see what you described is often coming from war stories, Like if an
Yes.
ancestor was at war
War.
and they
Yeah.
had to always be vigilant. We
Yeah.
find that with ADHD, we find that with
Interesting.
different types of OCD, for example, big time, war stories. Someone
Yeah.
was either in the war or had to flee, you know, like
Yes,
these
yeah.
types of, you
One of
can't
mine
relax.
was. Yeah.
If you relax, you die, right?
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
original
You're
story.
constantly moving. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And once you separate that, once you show the soul, the subconscious that, hey, no, it's not that anymore. You're not them.
Mm-hmm.
How you can be free, then you can relax, because then you realize that, oh, okay, it's a different story.
So what are the steps to release your soul from past traumas of past lives?
With past lives, there's this really powerful exercise that we use in family constellations once we uncovered what the story is.
Mm-hmm.
And that can also be used for past life release, is that
Okay.
I'm going to give you this, a short exercise, but so powerful.
Yeah.
People can try
Okay.
that. It does, a lot of times this is enough, but a lot of times it's not enough. Like you need the whole process, but a lot of times it's enough. And even if it's not fully enough, it releases enough that then when you go to a practitioner, it doesn't necessarily have to be family constellations. I mean, I believe in that so much, but there's others out there who are genuinely good and can help. So the exercise is the following. You light a candle, any kind of candle, but I like my candle.
Like yours. Okay.
Exactly, or any type of candle. And then it's best to do it standing up. You close your eyes and you imagine that if we're talking about past lives, that's going to be your past self that you imagine. So your past self, what you look like then. If you have a notion about it, if you don't know what you look like, you just have
I saw it.
feeling
I
or
saw what I
something.
look like.
Yeah, then you can just give the instruction. This is going to be my past self in front of me.
Okay.
And then what you want to do with the past life, we're not giving anything back because we're the same person in that case. What I like to do is I invite time. You can call it father time, you can call it time. And I invite time to show up on the sideline, like kind of like seeing both of us.
Okay.
And you can try to speak first, but sometimes you don't believe yourself. So that's why we're inviting time. So you can start with, this is 2026, February, whatever, what is it? February 8th.
Yeah.
We're not in that time anymore. And if we have a date, we can say that, but no need. We're not in that time anymore. This is the time. That's what we look like now. That's who I am now. So I can be free from whatever you're carrying. And you're not in that life anymore. Now, usually we can start with that, like I said, but if it's a stubborn life, we're not going to believe ourselves. We're like, yeah. But when time starts talking, and if people have a hard time with time, you can just invite God, source. Don't invite the universe. That's too small. So it's either God. And people don't need to be religious. If you're not triggered by the word God, if you get all upset about God, don't use the word, because that's not the point to trigger you. But if you're just like neutral, you don't even know whether you believe or not, just invite God. That's because that word has the strongest vibration of the all that is, the creator, source, exactly. And that is also a word that, because it's such a strong vibration, has such a strong field, it cannot be manipulated. It cannot be hijacked by others. Jesus is the same, even if it was not his original name, still that carries such a strong vibration. But for this, it's better to have the biggest force. So you invite God, or Father Time is good enough. Like I said, if people like that, that's good too. And so then they're going to say the same thing, and point at the past self and say, okay, your time was up. You're not there anymore. You're not focused there anymore. You're focused here. We used to say that it's over. It's not happening now. not quite true. So some people won't believe that because, these lives are like more parallel than past. But if you say that you're not focused there, you're focused here, that's going to be true.
You come into the present.
Exactly.
Where you are now.
And then it's always powerful to repeat the current date, 2026.
Interesting. Okay.
Months, day.
Okay.
Because even though it's a common agreement, it's not even the same. For example, traditionally for the Jewish nation and other people, it still has a strong force because we live by day in this part of the world. So you can say the date, and you literally make yourself focus on this part, and you can finish the exercise kind of imagining two things, two versions. Both are good. You either imagine that past self to kind of merge with you, and you just become one and focus here, or dissolve.
Okay.
You can't go wrong with that, because even if it dissolves, you'll know that your soul is in this body right now, and not in the past. And
so it would be actually kind of like, go ahead.
So sorry, there's just a little piece to fully finish it. Good. And then you say, and everything that is not mine and not from this life, I'm releasing it now. And you pretend that you put something down and you release it, and end of story.
Perfect. Now I lost my train.
Sorry.
No, that's perfect because you're breaking free from the bonds and the chains that you've brought from your past lives. If you've had trauma, and that's very important for us to actually realize and recognize that even our health issues can be from our past lives that we're bringing to this life.
Actually, I have a little bit of what I found over the years through my investigations, because my thing is get well, be happy, but fast. Like, don't have to work on yourself for years. Like, I'm not saying you don't have to. I'm saying I was always searching for what makes it more effective, faster, sustainable. And so that's why I was always investigating. I also have a lot of spontaneous memories about my past lives, as well as there's the method where like you use symbols to take people. That's so much better than the spontaneous, because those are like, hard. So what I find is that it's quite rare compared to common belief to have the source of problems in a past life. It's rare.
Say that again.
So the common belief, or I hear that a lot, is that people are saying that, I had this life where I had this problem, so I have this problem now as well. Or I have this problem and I know that it's probably a past life
issue.
So I have to find that past life where it comes from. And I don't find that true. I don't find that 99% of the time, or maybe the percentage will be incorrect. Let's say the majority of the time, what I find is that it's either not a single past life, but it's an accumulation.
Yes. Yeah.
And the more often we do it, it's like a bad habit in this life, for example. The more often you make the wrong choice, the more you make the wrong choice and the harder it is to change it. So what I find is that it's an accumulation as opposed to a one single past life as a source. What's also important is what I find is it's never going to be, maybe not never. I don't know everything about that. But in my case, in my practice, it's never the first few lives that show up at the root. Because you first get the easier to discover ones, and the really like bad stuff is it takes a few trips. We call them journeys when we go back to our past life. And so it's that, or it's not a past life at all. It just shows up in past lives also, but the stronger root is ancestral, and sometimes both. If you're being born back in the
it's not us. It could be in our lineage, like you're
exactly. And there's a third version, also not very rare, when it's neither. It's some kind of other. Sometimes it's these entities or the implants that make you think it's a past life. And yes, we're human. Like there's going to be common themes, right, that show up, but it's not the root of it. You can clear all those past lives, it still stays.
Okay.
If it's a different source.
Okay.
So I find that sometimes past lives are a little bit overrated. They are important.
Yeah. But it could be other things.
Rarely the source, especially rarely.
Okay.
I've never found one single past life as the source of a major issue. Smaller ones, sure. It can be, there's something here and there that you remember, but big topics like money, like, for example, you do not have money problems because you remember a past life when you were a nun and you made a vow to be poor. No, because we're not idiots. When we're born to this life,
I get it.
We're not, like, that's not how it works, in my opinion.
Yeah. Don't keep that suffrage. That's
I gotta say something about the idiot piece because I love, like, I gotta say something. That's manifestation. When people are really policing themselves with their words. I have a gift that I accidentally discovered that I can see how manifesting works. Like in the energetic space, I have it's like a holographic image of the person, and I can see all the things that they want. I realized later that's, I think, the vortex that Abraham Hicks talks about, because it does look like a vortex. It does look like a vortex. Okay. So I see the stages, and that's how I know that many advice are good, but many of them are not good. That's not how it works. Like, one thing that's not true: think about your wish, send it out, never think about it again. Won't happen. Or even if it does, it'll happen like 20 years from now. No, you do have to think about it, but not obsess over it. Yeah. But apart from that, there's so much more to talk about that. But what I want to say now is the idiot piece is there's also very common belief that, if you use the words, like, for example, my favorite, do not say that you want something, because if you want something, it means you don't have it. So that's what you're going to attract. And I'm like, duh. I know I don't have it. If I start saying I have $1 million, I have $1 million. No, you're not going to have $1 million if you keep saying it. But you also are not sabotaging yourself with the word want, because our subconscious is not an idiot. Not like, how they tell you that your brain doesn't know the no. And true, if you keep seeing, saying no pink elephant, you're going to think about the pink elephant. Yeah. But you're not going to manifest it. In that realm, you need a little bit stronger energy than just words. So even if you have a bad day, even if you say, oh my God, I can't believe I was so poor, you're not going to be poor, because unfortunately or fortunately, we're not manifesting instantly, right? So people don't have to police themselves with like, oh, no, now I can start over because I said this, or I can't say the want. I say these things. If we could just trick ourselves with these words, everybody would be millionaires who get the words right. Right? Okay. So, yeah.
Well, tell us what to say.
Basically, in my experience, you can say anything. Well, okay, if you're self-loathing, you're lowering your vibration. So what you want is the more you raise your vibration in general, I believe that's why the good manifesting teachers talk to you about joy. Yeah. Right? That, why that works? Because if you think about quantum physics, that speed matters, or the state of matter, right? The slower they're vibrating, the more dense they are. But when you speed up raise your vibration, you speed things up. It vibrates faster. Yeah. So anything you think of or want will appear faster. But I also have to say, the moment you want something, even the moment is too slow to say. It's right there in that energetic realm, but it just looks like this fluffy energy cloud. Doesn't have any shape yet. It can't manifest in the physical yet because it's not defined enough.
It's not defined. Interesting.
Exactly. Okay. So what you want to do after you thought about that, if you don't want it, that's why keep thinking about it, because then, but if you do, what you want to do is you want to repeatedly in like a uplifting kind of, not just like, fuck this money,
Positive.
I still have it. Don't have it. But like in a positive way.
Yeah.
Think about that. And emotions, I don't find that they're necessary, but if you want it faster, the reason you do need the emotions is because they're stronger, right?
Yes.
When, just like, right? What this like, oh, I'm so excited. That's why anger you probably know this, that as a psychic, right? You feel it's like spikes coming at you when someone's really, really mad.
From others,
and that's why you want emotions, again, for faster things. But if you don't have emotions, if you just have words, it still works, but it's so long, like it take you however long.
Okay. And I also believe that you have to have works with it. You can't just wish it. Sometimes you have to work for it.
It depends. Technically, I have to say, everything is true that they say. Technically, you could just wish it and it comes. But we're not.
I've never had that happen. I've had to work for everything.
Because overall, us humans, especially living in a civilization, you probably had that happen, but you had that happen with like little things you didn't really care about. You would think about something. Yeah. I love the color purple, and all of a sudden you see a beautiful purple flower.
Yeah.
Like that, Okay. But if we had that vibration and we're heading that way, well, it's going to take us some time, but like that, the lag time is going to be shorter and shorter and shorter. And thank God, by the way, right, that we're not instant manifestors. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Well, does our angels and guides, once we place that into the cloud, do our angels and guides hold on to it and help us manifest it and bring it into our lives?
How I see it is no.
How do you see that?
We are creating it, but everything and anything that is vibrations, like if you have, good guides that uplift you. So everything basically that happens that helps you to stay in a vibration where you don't have contradicting beliefs, right?
Yes.
For example, with money, right? Often people have stuff like, I want money, but rich people are, evil or take advantage of other people, or I want to help people as a healer or with my gifts, but then I can't charge money because I'm bad. So then you're going to have these manifesting. So your guides, your angels, your helpers can help you harmonizing your frequency. In my experience, they don't help specifically with your wish. They help you to be in the ideal state to start making, the more you positively think about this little thing, then it takes a shape, then it has color, then when in that energetic realm, it looks almost the exact same thing. Let's say if it's a physical object, like a new car or something, when I look, and when it looks like it looks in the physical world, then it's very, very close. Then I know that the person will get it very soon because it looks like
it's coming through
how you want it. Yes. So nothing is useless, all these helpers, but in my experience, they don't do anything with what you wish. They help you with your ideal state for that to happen,
to manifest. Awesome. That's really deep. You're talking really good, really deep. And I think that's good because we need to go deeper and we need to have a more clarity. And that's what I really wanted to bring forth on that ancestral. We just have a few minutes. Do you want to bring anything else up?
Let me see what people would benefit from.
And we can go a little bit longer if you want to. It's up to you.
Sure, I have time. There's one thing I want to say about my style. It may be useful. I can be, as you noticed, very passionate about things. But when you listen to me and watch this interview, you guys never, ever, ever forget that that's my conviction. That's my experience. I can be very passionate, but I'm not telling you the ultimate truth. Nobody knows that. And if anybody, that's another thing. I think if anyone tells you that that's that. And if you don't believe it, you're not there yet, or your vibration is not there yet, or you'll get there, honey, stay away. So I want to say that I can be very passionate. I'm very excited about these things, but these are my experiences. These are my convictions, not necessarily the ultimate truth. So yeah, that's important.
So let me touch one thing. I got to touch base on one thing. You're going to teach me how to bend a spoon.
Okay.
Because I've done this.
Talk about that so people can try.
Yeah, just touch base on that, what we were talking about, because I've tried several years to bend a spoon, because you see it all around the world. All these people are in Africa and stuff, and it just goes boom. And so I'm staring at the spoon, but I was focusing wrong. And you taught me that I was just focusing on the spoon instead of, go ahead.
So yeah, this is a funny story. I taught my kids during COVID. That was one of our lessons. We had homeschooling, and we had one of the classes was they had to take the test of bending spoons, and we learned astrology and all these other things. And I mean, I taught them. So if you want to play around bending the spoon, and the benefit of that, I believe that if you master that, that is how you will be able to teleport. But I can't talk about that from personal experience. That's gonna be my next project. But there is a person, and I wish I looked his name up. He's a dentist, and he learned hypnosis first before he discovered. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but I love listening to him. And he gave me the idea of, well, I translated it to bending the spoon first. So what you want to do is, by the way, it's not bending the spoon where you stare at the spoon and the spoon goes like this. I don't know if that's even true, to be honest. So you have to have a little bit of with the other hand. Maybe true. Maybe there's parts of the world. But basically, you take an ordinary spoon and you try it first to see that, because afterwards you're not going to believe that, otherwise you wouldn't be able to do. So you try it first, you realize that you can't just bend it. If you can, get a different spoon that you can't just bend.
Sturdy spoon.
Exactly. It's your regular teaspoon is good enough. But any kind of spoon that you're not afraid of ruining. And then where you want to focus is the neck of the spoon. And then you kind of take a deep breath and go into this like semi-meditative state. It's very fast if you can do it. If not, then practice of relaxing. Now, if you're always at your edge of your seat, it may take a little bit longer.
I know. I'll work on it.
Right? Yeah, like three deep breaths. And then you focus on I should have brought a spoon. I don't want to bend I have keys here. So I'll show you. So pretend that that's a spoon. And this is the neck. So this is where you want to focus on. And let me see if I can ruin any of these keys. Maybe not, but anyways.
Don't ruin a key.
So, so you focus here. And in that relaxed state, you imagine that it's not solid, that there's a lot of, just go down to the level of the atoms. You don't need to go further down. It's just the atoms. And the atoms are those little like spheres, and they're vibrating, and focus on the space between them. And we know it from physics, there's a lot of space, right? There's more space than matter in our universe. So if you focus on the space, and with your mind, make the space bigger. So imagine that the atoms are like this. And as soon as you did that, when you focused and you did that, then you reach and you just gently, like you don't, if you have to force it, still focus. And just gently you bend the spoon, and it's going to feel like, you know what it feels like? It has to feel like that's how you know you're doing it right. There, you have one of those Play-Doh type of things that are a bit harder. I think those are the ones who air dry. You can create little figures and then it dries on the air. And that type of Play-Doh is a little bit harder to work with, like it's thicker.
Yeah.
But it's still you can do anything with it. That's what it will feel like. And it's so cool because once you bend it, then you try to move it again, it won't move. It's gonna be the same
So
metal
then you have to go
again.
split the atoms again and bend it back. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, I guess you could do it. Yes,
Yeah.
we all kept our
I'm
spoons
gonna
bent.
practice that. I do want to talk to you about one really quick thing. Have you ever tried levitation?
That's such a good idea. The last time I tried it, I was a kid.
Okay.
And I was convinced that we can breathe underwater and that we are, that whatever. And I remember I was also convinced that I was not originally from here and I was sent from somewhere else. I didn't know about ETs back then, to observe humanity. And I thought humans were like these amazing creatures and I would observe them. And then I kind of forgot about it because, but
interesting.
But what was I going to say?
Levitation.
Oh, yes. So that was one of those things also that I was convinced of, that we could do it. So I would sit for hours, but I didn't succeed. But good reminder. I should try it again. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I spent the summer a couple summers ago and I practiced. So I was in the lotus position and I just would go into this Zen. And then it was really interesting that, so you know how your legs are crossed? The front of my legs would go up in the lotus position.
That's how it starts, is what I.
Yeah. I was balancing on my butt. And no one can lift their legs up when you're in a lotus position like that.
No,
if you just sit there and try to lift your legs up, you won't do it. And it was just the most bizarre thing as my legs would go up. And that's as far as I could get. I couldn't lift my butt off the ground, but I got my legs up. And it was just like, I should be falling over, So I was able to do that. I didn't get all the way up.
And you gave me an idea, maybe based on the spoon thing, maybe that can be done faster with physics again. Like if I focus on gravity in this case, neutralizing gravity, but just like carefully so not to shoot them.
I don't want to hit the ceiling.
We have legends about many Tibetan monks.
Yes, you see them over water, levitating
from one place, not just levitating, but like, and not even teleporting, but like actually flying. There's this famous guy, I forgot his name, who was seen multiple times. So so.
And I think
now we're going to the crazy realm, but
no, that's not. No, it's the difficult realm actually, because it's mind over matter. When you get to that part, you have to. I felt different when I was in it. I felt light like a feather. I know that sounds weird, but I felt
no, it makes sense.
Light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I do believe that we're going to be able to do so many more things once we open our minds and release the confinement of physics that, by the way, changes every day. And it's not even, a lot of the things are not even true for physics that are in the textbooks because it's evolving, right? And I think if we're open-minded, if we just...
I believe you're right. And I do believe that there is information that is hidden from us to work on releasing our minds to do many things.
For sure.
Yeah, I think there's really hidden tablets and things like that are buried or somebody has. That's for another show.
That's true.
Thank you.
That's true.
Thanks so much for coming on. I just really enjoyed
my pleasure.
And you didn't send me the links to your meetup and your website. I need to.
Oh, yes. I will send it to you. People can find me at info@goldenlightcircle.com if they want to message me. But I will give you the link, and you can, if you want to, you can put it on the.
And you said you're having some classes.
Oh, yes. I train people. I certify people in family constellations. We're actually going to have the March group soon, so people can also inquire about it, or they can go to F, like as in family constellation, fconstellations.com for info, or just email me and then I'll give them the details. It's a really amazing training. We cover every single life area and all these hidden connections and mini exercises, as well as how to do constellations for themselves. Like once you learn it to do it for yourself, oh my God, it's just, and you don't even need figures. There was one time this guy in the bar and in a conference, And he was like, so what do you? And I'm like, well, I work with this and that in family constellations. And he's like, what the heck is family constellations?
Yeah.
And we had those pretzels that they give you at the bar. So I said, oh, do you want me to show you? And he's like, yeah, I'm really interested. So with the pretzels, we found out that he had an unborn twin that he had no idea about. And then he messaged me later that he asked his mom, and it was true.
Really?
And that he had some, I can't remember, it was a relationship, something that was really stubborn in his life. So within like a few minutes with the pretzels, we figured out that he had an unborn twin. I told him what to do. And then he sent me later like this like huge thank you letter, and he was hooked on family constellation. So
interesting.
It's such an amazing, yes, thing.
Awareness.
I also regularly teach people how to channel, like I hold channeling groups, and we also do lots of fun things. Oh, and the other big thing that I'm big on is protection.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yes.
So when you do your channeling, you teach about the protection, which is super necessary.
When it comes to past lives, we do that one-on-one, because you can do it in a group too, but this particular process is long and it's more effective one-on-one. Okay. So all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So send me those and I'll post that too.
Okay.
Anything else you want to cover real quick?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I just enjoyed you so much. I think we're kind of sisters.
Yes.
You know? And
I do believe it's one of those times when, even with your listeners and whoever is going to end up watching this, I think we're finding each other. We're these, the resonance with soul family, I would say. We're finding each other with clients, with other practitioners. And that's one of those days when we do need each other. If we help each other keep our vibration, that'll protect us from everything. And we're not going to go down the rabbit hole of AI will erase humanity. No, it won't. I was shown the future sometimes.
No, and I think AI has some positive aspects to it too.
Lots of positive, exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
We need to learn how to behave with it, for sure.
Yes. But everything has a bad modality. It just, everything. So it's going to have good and bad. It's just what you want to focus on. So Henriette, just hold tight and we're going to end the stream, but stay with me, okay? Thanks, guys. Have a good day. We will see you soon. Okay, bye.